This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Drug overdose is the 9th leading cause, one of the top 10. Worldwide, it's 25th. That's how many more drug overdoses we have than the world. Running a Fever, episode 252, Living to 100, 2021, COVID's effect on life expectancy. Hello, welcome to Running a Fever. My name's Michael Davis. I just want to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. If that's what you want, then you're in the right place. We will get there together. Longevity is a key aspect of what we try to do on this show. I'm not sure I can tell you a whole lot about how to live a good life, but I assume we will find a way to do that, and that life will be so good that we'll want it to last as long as possible. We do that by loving our lives and taking care of them. Longevity, as an average, generally increases over time, at least in recent times. One way you can see this is to go to the actuarial tables of the Social Security Administration and the U.S. Now, currently on the website, only the data from 2004 to 2017 are available in an easy-to-digest table, but there's more if you dig deeper, and if you know something about statistics going back to 1900. I don't, so a lot of that information is meaningless to me, but at birth, someone born in 2017 is expected to live 80.96 years. Someone born in 1900 was likely to live only into his or her late 40s, believe it or not. Now, when I was born in 1966, the number was into the late 60s, but that doesn't mean I'm going to die in my 60s, because with each year you live, or more accurately, with each year that you don't die, you increase your life expectancy. So that today, statistically, on my birthday in 2017, the year I started this show, I was expected to live another 28.82 years to the age of 79.82. So the longer you live, the more likely you are to live longer, which makes sense. Now, when you get to over 100, you're basically not expected to live another year. But up until then, you're expected to live a little bit longer. Now, I have no doubt increased my expectancy in the ensuing 4 years, so that I'm probably expected to live over age 80. Now, in other countries, I think records may have been better over 121 years ago. In this country, we were generally a bunch of Protestant farmers for most of our history, most of whom could not read or write. We have lots of listeners in other countries, though, and I'd love to hear from you on the life expectancy in your own country. Just leave a comment at runningafever.com. And this episode will be at runningafever.com/252. Now, all this is very interesting, but today what I'm trying to bring to light is how serious the COVID-19 pandemic impact has been. Millions of people, over 100 years of progress, and now that has all changed. An article published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States. As an aside, the Academy has its own podcast called Science Sessions. The article contends that COVID-19 will reduce U.S. life expectancy in 2020 by 1.13 years. It also says that the reduction will disproportionately affect Black and Latino populations. Blacks have a lower life expectancy than whites, and Latinos have a higher life expectancy than whites. If you're from another country, just understand that Americans are obsessed about race, and that's why we have these statistics. But if the study of these stats helps improve life expectancy, I'm all for it. So in a normal year, let's just pick 2001, we have 867.1 deaths per 100,000 people. That's 0.8%. The PNAS info was based on projections in the middle of 2020. Now, the number of cases increased dramatically in the fall, along with the number of deaths. Overall, over 351,000 people died of the disease last year. The overall number of deaths and population is not available, but I would expect the actual numbers to be worse than what the article predicts, because there was another 6 months of the year left to go. Macrotrends.net predicts a 0.00897 death rate for 2020, which is an increase of 1.12, and it's expected to be worse in 2021. I'll say that again. It's expected to be worse in 2021. I don't like to be the gloom and doom guy, but I want people to know about this thing. It's important. Now, what I didn't tell you before was that we had a reversal of the general trend of an increase in life expectancy in this country starting in 2014. 2019 saw the first increase in 6 years. Why? 2 key contributors are suicide and drug overdose. As of 2017, suicide is listed as the 11th leading cause of death in the U.S., accounting for 1.7% of annual deaths as of 2019. 11th in the United States. Worldwide, it is 15th. Drug overdose is the 9th leading cause, one of the top 10. Worldwide, it's 25th. That's how many more drug overdoses we have on a percentage basis than the world in this country. The rate of drug overdose in this country is the highest of any country, almost twice that of the next, the number 2 one, which is Libya. But the hope that came in that increase in 2019 was smashed by the coming of COVID-19 at the end of that year. In 2020, over 351 people died of COVID, which will probably make it the 3rd leading cause of death. And as of January of 2021, it is the leading cause of death in terms of daily average deaths. We've come a long way since 1918. Now, that's the year that the flu killed over 600,000 people in this country, several times the number of deaths from World War I. But obviously we haven't conquered disease. When that many people die, it has an impact, not only at the present, but for years into the future. Longevity is just one way to look at it. But what about the economic and social implications? Those of us who were able to stay home were impacted psychologically by this, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an increase in suicides and drug overdoses as leading causes of death. What I get from all of this most of all is the lack of control we have over the world. We try very hard to control it. We strive for technology to change our environment and protect ourselves from harm. But in the end, our efforts, though certainly worthwhile, are very small compared to the strength and power of the natural world in which we live. Deep thoughts. But we struggle on, in our small way, to love our lives and increase their duration. Most of the leading causes of death are preventable. Most of the leading causes of death are preventable, even by our own small efforts. So let's get back to work. This episode is the result of hours of research, and I know it's really short, but I did spend hours researching this, and I give credit to a number of sources, and you can find all of those at runningafever.com/252. Catch the fever, and if you already have it, keep that fire going, and I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.